Despite
You
this
okay?
very large size
Sound like
gut
you
I've got,
fell.
I can't eat that much.
Okay, we will call the Village of Mount Sterling Council meeting for August 14th, 2023 to order with roll call, please.
David?
Here.
Bill?
Here.
Joyce?
Here.
Becky?
Here.
Ross?
Here.
Andy?
Here.
All's present.
Okay. Dave, you want to leave us in the prayer, please?
Lord, thank you for another beautiful day you provide for us, Lord. And Lord, be with our village tonight and our council and our mayor and law enforcement, Lord, with your healing hand and touch and protect them. And be with all the shut-ins and all the people in the village. In Jesus' wonderful, wonderful name, amen.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, I'd like a motion to approve the meeting minutes from the council meeting held on July 24th, 2023.
Have that motion?
Is there a second?
Second.
Or,
Ross?
yeah.
Ross beat you.
Roll call.
He just didn't say no.
Yeah.
Didn't hear.
David?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Joyce?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Ross?
Yeah.
Andy?
Yes.
Okay, mayor's report, I really don't have anything other than, if you guys, for the last newsletter of the year, if you want to give me your stuff, I probably need it within the next week and a half to 2 weeks. So if you could get that for me, that would be great. Anything you would like to put in there? And also, we have some, people in our community that have had some traumatic loss over the last few weeks, and please just, keep them in your hearts, and, hope that they can get through those troubling times. President Pro Tem, Andy?
I do not have a whole bunch to talk about tonight, so I'll reserve my comments for council, or for the committee meetings rather. And I just want everyone to remember that it is the most wonderful time of the year. School will be in session. Every parent's delight. So please watch out for kids as we think about everybody going back, and everyone's on different schedules, but please be mindful, especially since it'll be early and everybody will be adjusting. So that's all I've got for tonight.
Okay. No public comments that I see, no executive session, so we will go to sheriff's report.
All right. Deputy Parks, Madison County Sheriff's Office. I'm standing in for Jack Dill. In an effort to save paper, I'm going to read this off of my phone. So since July 24th up until today, with the exception of an additional traffic stop, we have 31 traffic stops now for that time period. There's been 1 assault, 3 animal complaints. There was 1 death, a disturbance, a domestic, and I'm trying to find more pertinent calls. Looks like 1 juvenile complaint. Those are starting to dwindle down. 2 narcotics reports, and 8 theft reports. So those are just the higher end things that I covered. Plenty more calls for service that weren't listed or weren't covered.
Some fireworks over the weekend.
I don't know. I didn't work here that weekend. I was up north in Plain City area.
On the death, was that a natural causes or?
I believe Jack Dill was on that when I was coming into work, and I had popped open into it. Nothing seemed alarming in the notes, so I believe it was natural cause. That's very limited information that I have, so I can't guarantee that, but nothing stood out to me just glancing over it.
Okay. Does anybody have anything? Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Law Director, do you have anything for me?
I don't.
Okay. And Village Administrator, Mr. Byrne.
Mayor Darlington, members of council,
Next week's going to be a busy week for us. We'll be doing some street sweeping throughout the village, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And this is a newbie for us, so we're just going to go out with some no parking signs, see how they do. We'll start off with 62 and 56, which is London, Main Street, and Columbus Street. We'll start those on Monday. And really, it's going to be a learning experience for us. So if you see a no parking sign, please do your best not to park there. The guys are busy with the potholes. You've noticed that. We've done almost 300 potholes in town, which is amazing. But we still have some, we know, so it doesn't hurt to give me a holler and let me know when you have a pothole that you think needs attention.
Well, Tom, the citizens on Temple Street and ones I was telling you about, they're tickled to get that one filled in. They said the Durapatch did a lot good there, so I just
Oh, yeah.
want to tell you that, so that's good.
I'd like to thank council again for approving that purchase, because it's paid for itself, I believe, already. But are there any questions from council? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Fiscal officer, zoning building, I'm sorry, Tom Hale, they aren't here this evening. So that is good, fiscal officer.
Okay, I don't have much. As we talked about in the last couple meetings, budget's going to be happening. So I know I met with two today about some budget items and their wish list items. Again, we will be taking those wish list items to finance. We will also have a finance work session about that and to determine what the 2024 budget will have and will be. So again, it is open to the public when we do have these meetings, work sessions and committee meetings and council meetings. All of these are public, so if you guys in the public have questions about that or want a rough sketch of what has already been talked about, minutes are taken, and you can be gladly to reach out to me, and I would certainly let you know that information. So with that said, I don't have anything but the bank reconciliation report for the month of July. Everything is accounted for. There were no adjustments on here at all. So I would just ask for a motion to approve the appropriation status report, the revenue status report, the receipt listing report, the payment listing report, the comparison of budget and appropriated report, the cash summary report, the RETA report, and the bank reconciliation for July of 2023.
I give you that.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Andy, David,
Roll call?
Bill,
Yes.
Joyce,
Yes.
Becky? Yes. Ross?
Yes.
Andy?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
And then I'm gonna go ahead and pass these other ones around from the last council meeting, so if you can please sign them, because we didn't have that filled out. And then the bank reconciliation report too.
Thank you. Committee reports, finance, Andy.
Yes, we met on August 2nd, as Courtney has just mentioned, run through a list of open items, which included preparing for priorities for the 2024 budget, looking at the details of a proposed Community Reinvestment Act ordinance, which council will be having a work session on here in the next couple of weeks. It will be replacing our enterprise zone agreement for the industrial park. That's sunsetting at the end of the year. We kind of need to do something about that. So rather than run out the shot clock, I thought we would go ahead and get that organized. And then also, of course, looking at village staffing and how we can keep the budget basically flat to down while maybe getting some either additional projects in or boots on the ground. We have a pending request from Tom to look and see if we can staff up another utility worker, and how we do that is going to be a little bit of a acrobatic exercise in terms of the budget. You'll note that you have legislation in front of you this evening, which will be coming up a little bit later. Give you a little bit of background on it. As a condition of leaving state oversight last year, fiscal oversight last year, we were required to submit a 2023 budget, which we've done obviously, and a 2024 forecast for review and approval by the auditor, a copy of which is right here, and it'll be in the lobby after the meeting tonight for anyone to take a look at. It's a public record. The village committed at that time to trim some expenses and bring spending basically in line with other municipalities our size, and we have largely done that. With the legislation going before council this evening on 3 readings, this is not an emergency. It shouldn't be an emergency. It should be 3 readings. We're finishing up the last of the state requirements. Finance Committee has recommended trimming the benefits of elected officials, starting with the mayor. Providing the mayor with health benefits will cost an estimated $130,000 for the next term and $160,000 or more for the term starting in 2028. Along those lines, Finance Committee has been looking at priorities for the village, and it seems like an awful lot of money. And so frankly, cutting that could be freeing up of some dollars to be spent on other things, including either people, matching money for grants, street improvements, drainage, just to name a few things. That's all I basically have to say on the outcome of the status of the meeting on August the 2nd, and pretty much that should do us for that. Our next meeting for finance will be September the 6th at 2:30 p.m.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Pleasant Township, David?
Yes, we finally got around to buying the new truck. It's been talked about for the last 3 meetings, but they're gonna go and purchase their new truck in September. And they talked about getting a new salt spreader for it and everything, so they've said be prepared for the winter. And also, that on some road signs on some of the township roads, they wanna put up a couple of new signs. They've had a couple of them needing repair. And also a little bit of flooding issue in one of the township roads. And we paid the bills, and that was about it.
Okay, thank you. Squad, Joyce?
Thanks. We had a meeting Wednesday night. Okay, we have one employee that has been separated from employment due to a disability. Lots of stuff happened at this meeting. The employees now have options for their insurance. The meeting has been held, and we're waiting for all of the employees to turn in their benefits form. On the new business, they secured a training equipment grant for $818.85 for seat belts. We had a volunteer resignation submitted, a new applicant for a new EMT volunteer. I believe this is the basic. We did secure money for a washing machine that we needed at the squad bay, and also the chief has gotten a quote for new mattresses, and that was approved. We had a truck repair on engine, truck number 372, had the AC charged and rear brakes. Man, this stuff is not cheap. We're still waiting for the new truck to come in, and they're still slated for that to happen in December, so hopefully they'll get a new engine then, and we won't have to put so much into some of these repairs. Yep, but as of Wednesday night, all 4 trucks have been through their repairs, and they're all up and running. And that's all I have for squad. The next meeting will be September 13th at 8 o'clock.
Thank you. Fire, Ross?
The runs for last month were down to 55, which is quite a bit. In August the 21st, we will know about the new operating levy that they've asked for, and won't know anything until then. And the next meeting for fire is August the 31st.
Water, wastewater, Joyce?
I don't think we've met since our last meeting. I'm sure we haven't met since our last meeting, so I don't have anything to report at this time, but I'll have a full report the next meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Remember, we moved our meetings now that they're later now. in the-
They're later now.
Street, Becky?
Sure.
I'll just allude to Tom's report on the streets, and everything that they've been accomplishing. Thank you. And our next meeting will be on 9/11 at 6 o'clock.
Okay, thank you. And Parks and Rec?
We just hosted this past Saturday Special Olympics, and that was very, very nice. We appreciate the American Legion coming out and doing the flag raising again. We appreciate all the volunteers. that helped put on this nice event for our community and for these young athletes. So very grateful for that. The Youth League has been holding lots of events out at the park as well. We have a movie night coming up on Saturday the 26th. We're showing Super Mario Brothers. Should be a lot of fun. That movie will start at dusk as usual. Since the last time we met, we did get 4 more concrete pads put in for those benches, and happy to report that the American Legion has committed to buying one of the benches for our field, so that's good. So that'll put us up to 5 benches out there. So we still have lots and lots of more opportunities if anyone wants a bench or a tree. Very nice article in the Madison Messenger about that. That was very nice. Also, we had a young man, we had a tree meeting out there, our last tree meeting, and a young man donated a little maple tree that he's grown from seed, and we planted that near the entrance. And so up to 5 new planted trees out there, and we have plans, for a lot more. The tree committee was, I'll just give that report right here if you don't care, was grateful to be there and appreciate the park and all of its beauty and opportunities. They're interested in teaming up with the Parks and Rec and helping with some projects out there. So that's great. Our next meeting will be on 9/11 at 5 o'clock. Our swing sets should be getting ordered any day as soon as the paperwork is finalized with everything. So hopefully those will be ordered any day now, and we'll have those out there in just a couple of months. So I think that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Record of retention, Andy.
Yeah, we met just this last Friday. Had a great time, chawed through. There's another pile. I don't know if anyone can tell because, well, frankly, we're really great at building piles. And so, again, a thank you to all the volunteers who come out and help us with this. They don't have to. It's at 8 a.m. on a Friday morning. I know they want to be doing something else, but it's a lot of fun. We have a good time, and I recommend if anyone would like to volunteer to join this committee, there's open positions. Please consider joining. We would love to have you. And it's a trip through memory lane in many cases, so it's a lot of fun. So our next meeting on this one will be September 1st. That's the first Friday of the month at 8 a.m.
Thank you. Nuisance and abatement, Joyce.
Our last meeting, we reported at the last council meeting. Our next meeting for nuisance will be on September 25th, and the water meeting will be that same time, with same date.
Okay.
Nuisance at 5, water at 6. As far as nuisance goes, I just want to remind people that yard clippings should not be mowed over the curb into the street. That is an ordinance violation, and we are watching for that. And we've had a couple. So we're
It's a
asking.
safety hazard, too.
It's a safety
bad
hazard,
one.
yes. Yeah, not good at all. So we appreciate those that have worked with us on getting some things cleaned up. And I've been getting some emails and some phone calls. I'm going to tell you honestly, I was sick last week, and this week's crazy busy, I know, for Courtney. So we probably won't get to meet until next week as far as making some phone calls and getting some things, pursuing some things that we need to talk about and get taken care of, calls to make, and hopefully no tags, but, we'll see. So that's all I have.
Thank you. Safety block watch, Bill.
And we had our meeting on August 8th at 6. We talked about a possibility of a bike path going to Mason Park, and how hard that would be to actually get across the woods down there, but also getting to the area, what would be the best way to get there, best route. We talked about the sidewalk down on South Market Street that is over top of the culvert, that the sidewalk actually is caving in. It's about to fall down. we talked about different ways we're waiting on engineer give us word on what it's going to take to fix it and what steps we can take to make it safe until then. So we want to talk about a variety of different stuff, and I'm very bad at taking notes, so that's about all I can remember. I'm gonna start doing better at taking notes. And our next meeting, as it stands right now, will be September 4th at 6.
September 4th for
Okay.
safety.
Thank you. Planning, Andy?
Yeah, we met if I remember my calendar dates right, we met the 26th, so it's been a little bit, at 6 PM. And we basically ran through, the building inspector asked us to start considering changes to the building code because of making them similar to what other municipalities and the rest of the county are doing, so that the trades and everybody else can understand, one standard is good for everybody. So we went through that. And other than that, we did not have a huge amount of business to either to bring back here or to do. In theory, we will be meeting again on September the 26th, so kind of a ways out here, unless there's another one that's scheduled in the meantime, so which could be. So we'll see. That's all I got on planning.
Zoning, Becky?
Nothing that I know of.
All right, that takes us to ordinances and resolutions. Ms. Becker?
Okay, we have ordinance 2023 an ordinance amending ordinance 2019-14 for the removal of the mayor's medical benefits, and this is on the first reading.
Can we have discussion now? I was just a little taken back when I saw this piece of legislation, and I just wanted to remind everyone why we originally implemented this. It was about 4.5 years ago. I remember it distinctly. I don't think any of you are on council. Marcy was on council, and I know I know you were on council. But at that time, council members and mayors hadn't had a raise in over 20 years. And recently, West Jeff and London had recently posted things in the newspaper about their those position raises as well. So it got us thinking. And we did go back and find the council, and it had been 20 years. Council had been making $100 a month. We don't make much more now, but those were things that that spurred the conversation. And the reason we added medical as a benefit to the mayor at that time was we wanted to attract a broader base of candidates to that position. The mayor at that time was only making $7,500 a year, and as all of you know, that's not a lot of money. But we decided that might make this position a little more attractive for more candidates from all walks of life, the poor, the middle class, not just the rich or the wealthy or the well-established. It would be something that might entice more candidates to apply to this. And I remember having the discussion at the time, we may get some young person coming in, just starting off maybe their political career, living in Mount Sterling, that this as a second job, but with the benefit of health care, would encourage them to take that step and try the mayor on for a fit. It just, in general, it just might attract more candidates. And that's the reason that we implemented this, and it was passed by council. And I guess I just have a problem with, I understand time marches on, and you know, we want a new employee, we want, you know, we have streets to fix, as Andy was alluding to, we have lots of projects, but as we've all talked about before, our most valuable assets we have in a community are our employees and our administrators, our staff, and we need to take care of them above everything else. And when we passed this legislation, we were on fiscal emergency, meaning we had to get this approved from the state. They had to look at it and justify it, and they did. Council approved it, and then the state approved it. And now we are not on fiscal emergency any longer, and we're considering getting rid of it, just to save money. Ask yourself if you know, is this the right thing to do? Is this the right thing to do for this position, the position of mayor of our community? Is this what we want it to be? So I just ask that you really consider that and consider the implications of why we originally did it and our justification of it now. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Anybody else have anything that they wanted to say? I imagine if we do the 3 readings, that this might come up, would it come up in a finance meeting, or?
Nope,
Nope.
it's 3 readings.
All right. All right, so is there a motion to place ordinance 2023-08 on first reading?
I'll give you that motion.
Is there a second?
Okay. Ross will second.
Yes. A roll call, please?
All right, David?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Joyce?
Yes.
Becky?
No.
Ross?
Yes.
Andy?
Yes.
Pass on the first reading.
Okay. Roundtable. Does anybody have anything for roundtable this evening?
Oh, I have for roundtable, the library had their birthday party, as you want to call it. They celebrated 110 years old, and a good turnout, 50 people. It's good to reminisce about the old days of the library, and it was just good to see some of the people that was there in the past and everything. And the chocolate cake was good too, so that was a good part of it too. But it was a good turnout, and it's something I'm so glad this village has, is a good library and museum. I've been in some big libraries and, of course, in college towns, and to have so much historical stuff as we do in this small library is just amazing compared to what I've seen in Carolina and Virginia and places. And we ought to be grateful we have such an institution in this little town. And it was a good turnout and a good time.
The only thing I would add to that, and it was a good time, it was a great turnout, saw all the staff, saw some staff who hadn't been in a long time, had retired, so it was really good to see them again. And I'd like to give the library a big shout out for an awesome program this summer. They and the community, the community center do just a terrific job with summer programming for kids. And from all accounts, it was a really big success. So thank you to all the hard work that went into that. There was a lot of donations to the library who make the backpacks go. So thank you for those. Big shout out to MCL Medical for that. And, this is what makes the community great. So thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I just have a quick thank you to everyone. Thank you for all your thoughts and prayers and kind deeds during this really hard time. I appreciate every one of you more than you know. Thank you.
I just want to say thanks to council and other members of the community that banded together to lift up our fellow council member during her time.
That's what community's all about.
That's right.
It is always a hard time. I've been done funerals and stuff and a loss. I know when my 2 parents were killed in a car accident, it's never easy. And that's where the good Lord provides for you the most.
Yes.
Our faith in Jesus.
Continue the prayers.
Yes. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Pass you, David.
had done a fantastic job.
Oh, good. I
As I expected, I knew Jim would.
yeah. See, I didn't know he was gonna be there.
I didn't, I wasn't
I
sure
had
who it
no
was.
idea.